welcome you to Paterson, New Jersey, where a legendary club makes its grand return to competition this afternoon. New York Cosmos playing their first competitive match in almost 6 years against Portland Hearts of Pine. We say hello and welcome from the tri-state area alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Sam Goldfarb, and Ricky, you get a look at New York Cosmos. This their third iteration, their first season in USL League One, though.
History is what you get with this New York Cosmos side. Players like Pele, players like Franz Beckenbauer have really worn this jersey, but now it's an opportunity for Davide Corsi and his side to carry that history. You're looking at players like Kofi, Guenzati, Cito. These players can really be impact players in USL League One. Can they do it to start this season against a very good Portland Hearts of Pine side?
You mentioned one of those standouts, Sebastian Guenzati, a former USL Championship veteran. He leads the line for Cosmos today.
Sebastian Guenzati is going to need everything for the Cosmos going forward. He's physical, but has really soft feet. Look for him to lead the line, not only trying to score goals, but in terms of the personality, he needs to be massive for New York if they want to start this season with 3 points in their back pocket.
On the opposite end of things, they faced last year's darlings in Portland Hearts of Pine. What an inaugural season it was for Hearts last year.
For Bobby Murphy and Portland Hearts of Pine, it was a dream start to 2025. Off the field, with the amount of fans that they had in attendance, and on the field, it translated into success. The only thing that Bobby Murphy wants to see a little bit better for his side, they need to be better defensively. A side that conceded 40 times. What did they do? They went out and brought big-time players. Look for them to be compact to start this game.
You mentioned making changes defensively. No changes going forward, though, and this man is still at the center of everything.
Ollie Wright, what can't he do? He's the player that when he does get the ball, he brings you to the edge of your seat, can go 1v1, can score this spectacular goal. He's going to start in the right-hand side, but can quickly shift to the left-hand side. Look for him to really ask questions and put pressure on New York Cosmos and that back line.
Second team All-League selection a year ago. Once again, the talisman for Portland Hearts of Pine. We are just about set to get things underway here at Hinchcliffe Stadium for a new era of New York Cosmos football. For the first time, they take the pitch in USL League One. Cosmos and Hearts next with lineups and kickoff when we return. We welcome you back to New Jersey as you get your look at the lineups presented by Ion Bank. What do you see with the Cosmos here?
For Davide Corsi, he wants to be a coach that wants to get on the ball, that wants to dictate tempo and push the tempo, but the engine for the Cosmos will be Cito Milovanov. Look for them to dictate, move the ball from left to right. If they can get a hold of this game, that allows that front four to be expansive, to be vertical, and really put pressure on Portland Hearts of Pine. Guenzati and Coffey, look for that relationship because they can cause some issues.
Cito drawing major praise from Cosmos brass, a former Ajax Academy standout back in the day. They're opposite numbers in Portland Hearts of Pine donning the Lighthouse kit. This looks quite familiar to Hearts fans.
And it's going to be Titus Washington. He's going to stay as high as he possibly can. Look for him to make those runs in behind, which will allow a lot of the space to attack the top of that 18-yard box. Kid and Punandron, they need to do a good job at just being compact and being that security blanket right in front of that back four. Green and Evans, that relationship is going to be new for Portland Hearts of Pine. How quickly can they get in a rhythm of playing off of one another?
Breck Evans joining from FC Naples this offseason, led the league in clearances a year ago. And of course, Hunter Morris between the sticks is always someone who anchors things for Portland. We are just about set to get things going. The inaugural League One match in the third iteration of New York Cosmos. It is New York in the green strip, going from left to right on your screen. Portland in the Lighthouse kit from right to left. And we are underway here from Paterson, New Jersey. A new era of New York Cosmos football has begun. Sam Goldfarb, Ricky Lopez-Espin on hand. We thank you for joining us in what should be a fun opener. New York, the expansion club in respect, although they've been around since the 1970s in terms of their history. Portland Hearts of Pine, last year's darlings that set the world alight. And already a quick break forward for New York. Georgialidis looks forward for Washington, who is bundled over in an early set piece.
A little bit of a glimpse of the type of player that Titus Washington is with his mobility as Georgialidis gets on the ball, making that run in between the right back and right center back. Good opportunity here for Portland just to put some pressure on the Cosmos back line.
On early set piece, Ollie Wright usually works his magic in scenarios like these, and he is the lone man in the vicinity, it appears. It will be right to take. Comes in dangerously. And knocked away. Cosmos with a chance to break. This is out wide for Kofi. Now Wright. Someone who is a magician with the ball at his feet. 11 goals a season ago. One of the top creative playmakers in USL League One. Well, this is a Cosmos side that, when talking to Davide Corti, seems to want the ball. They want to be able to dominate play. It's a Portland squad that hasn't necessarily been known for its propensity to do that, so it's an interesting game of cat and mouse here.
Something has to give for Portland Hearts of Pine. 3 minutes in has shown they're really comfortable on the ball, understanding the areas that they can really pick apart this New York Cosmos side. And you're looking at that center location again for Davide Corti. That's going to be everything for this side. If they want to be possession-based, Seedle and Milanovov need to do a good job at just getting a hold of this game.
Early on, Portland certainly taking the fight to Cosmos. Of course, they bring back 13 players from a year ago, so there is that continuity there. We welcome you back. We apologize for any technical difficulties here as we get set for this USL League One opener between New York Cosmos and Portland Hearts of Pine. Sam Goldfarb, Ricky Lopez-Espin on hand in Paterson, New Jersey. And what you missed was an Ollie Wright chance moments ago. Nearly had a rebound after a one-on-one effort was saved prior to that. Still 0-0 though, as the Cosmos get their League One era underway. And Ricky, we spoke to both coaches. Obviously, neither fully sure what to expect of their opposite numbers, but this is a New York Cosmos side that wants to play expansive football and be patient in possession. We have yet to see them truly establish a foothold in this, though.
Much of what we've seen from the Cosmos has been defensively, finding a way to deal with the transitional movement and the mobility of the front line for Portland Hearts of Pine. So you're looking at the two center backs. They need to do a better job at keeping the game in front of them. Holt and Chavez, look for them to communicate off one another, especially off the ball.
Now they're able to knock it about as that's headed out of bounds by Galazzini. Talking to Davide Corti, he says, when building the roster, we emphasize blends of youth and experience. We want the expert players to lead the youth players who we feel are diamonds in the rough. And when you look at the 11, there are a number of standouts. Massimo Morabito, who was reportedly excellent in preseason friendlies, is starting at left back at just 17 years of age. So this is a club that fancies itself both a competitor but also a developer.
It's going to be a feeling out period for New York Cosmos, especially in game one. It's not going to be perfect, nor should.
This is hoofed over the top towards Washington, and off his line to break it up is Stefani, who's making his pro debut.
Nor should Davide Corti expect it to be perfect. So again, the first 15 to 20 minutes, just get your footing. Connect your first pass, do the simple things well. Once you do get in a rhythm, that's when you can take chances, especially going forward.
Galazzini. Ushered wide. Ten minutes gone. Still nothing to separate these two sides. A northeast matchup between Cosmos and Portland, and an early corner on the way for New York Cosmos. It's one of their first forays forward today. It's taken within swing toward the back post. Evades everyone in green. Is tracked down on the far side though. This is a Portland side that is coming off a historic inaugural season, Ricky. You talk about the constant sellouts, not to mention the run to the semifinals. Came within a penalty of the final, and we were there, got the chance to view that on site. It was an exceptional semifinal fixture, and they just came a touch short of that ultimate goal of the promised land.
You know, it's going to give Portland Hearts of Pine that motivation factor, saying we were just there, we were unable to really push and get over the hill. Bobby Murphy did a fantastic job in the offseason at bringing in players that are successful in their own rights, but also understand what it takes to be a big-time player in USL League One. You look at Breck Evans, the center back. He's going to lead this back line next to Green. So look for those two players to really be focal points defensively.
And you mentioned it earlier. It is a Portland side that placed heavy emphasis on improving itself defensively in the offseason. Bobby Murphy saying, we were about 10, 11 goals shy, one way or another, of basically qualifying as a top 4 seed and having home playoff matches through the opening 1-2 rounds of the playoffs. He said that ultimately we decided the best way to find those 10 or 12 goals is to improve our defense and concede less. And so that's been the big rationale for the additions of the likes of Breck Evans and others, as Wada threads this through to Washington, who is in on goal and just off the inside of the post. It looked like Portland had the goal at their mercy, and somehow Washington doesn't get the friendly kiss.
And just notice the pressure right now for Portland. Front six in the attacking third. And a good opportunity for Washington. Just notice the movement left side of your screen as Chavez steps in, just plays off the shoulder, but takes a little bit too long to make his decision and pull the trigger. As the ball's coming across his body, he needs to attack it. As he takes that second long, that closes down the angle and unfortunately kisses off the post.
Fast start for Portland. That their second glaring chance of the match already. Tristan Stefani has been thrown into the fire in his professional debut so far.
We talked about the comfortability and the rhythm of the two center backs. If Chavez does challenge for that ball, Holt needs to drop off and supply some coverage.
Knocked wide. Wright winning it back, and this is where he's at his best. Looking to switch the play. Picks out Georgilidis, who is a couple of footsteps behind it. Well, fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. We inch towards the opening quarter of an hour mark, and right now New York Cosmos still trying to find their footing in their return to competitive action for the first time in over 5 years. Sam Goldfarb, the former USL standout Ricky Lopez-Espin on hand, and it's to be expected a team playing their inaugural match maybe takes time to gel. But at home you'd expect them to push on a touch more, as Kofi looks to do just that. Milovanov beyond the reach of Galazzini on the overlap.
Kofi's a player that Davide Corti and the front office extremely high on the ability to go 1v1. Very direct and exciting player. That's an opportunity that you need to run at Mohamed, put him on his heels. You see New York Cosmos struggling to find anything going forward, so if you can take your chances and put pressure on Hunter Morris in this back line, you have to do it.
Christian Kofi, the former Huntsville City product, 2 seasons there, double-digit goals during his time. Talking to Davide Corti, he says, my system caters to wingers who are excellent with 1v1 situations, and Christian Kofi fits that description to a T. He surely will be one of the players that is the focal points going forward. Not to mention, of course, Sebastian Guenzati, who's now in his second stint with the Cosmos, but we've yet to see him grow into this one.
There's a sense of comfortability within the front three for the Cosmos. You have Zalonka, Kofi very good in terms of their isolation play, the ability to go 1v1, and then you have Guenzati. He's going to stay high. He wants to get on the end of service and be a poacher, so getting those three on the same page will be crucial going forward for the Cosmos.
Georgilidis, rookie for Portland Hearts of Pine, wins a throw. Georgilidis, the native of Cyprus, who went pro after finishing his 4-year college career at UCLA. Someone who's also played with the Cypriot youth national team from the U16 to U19 levels. That bashed away as Scarlett tries to provide support for Wright. Kidd. Surging through midfield. And this is Zion Scarlett. Just about snuffed out by New York. Only as far as Kidd, though.
Just see center of your screen. Spengler, the number 10 for this New York Cosmos side, just wanting his side to settle down. Put your foot on the ball, retain some possession, and get in a rhythm. Every single time they've gotten the ball, it's been direct, giving the ball right back to Portland.
This is a flick-on header from Kofi. Guenzati forced wide, clipping it all the way to the back post, and a chance potentially brewing here for Cosmos. Kofi again. Effort takes a deflection right into the gloves of Hunter Morse. and it will take more to beat the saves leader from last year in USL League One from that range.
Finding a little bit of success, the Cosmos are when they go quick, especially in the wide parts of the field. If you are Davide Corti, the message is if you do recover the ball, you need to play vertical. You need to try to catch out this Portland Hearts of Pine, specifically on the outside back position.
You've seen Galazzini have some enjoyment going forward on that right side.
It's a good relationship. Solanka's coming centrally, allowing Galazzini to come around the corner, creating an overload on this near side of your screen.
Punanjaran, always so steady in midfield for Portland, although, as we say that, a rare wayward pass from him. You see Bobby Wright on the touchline, Bobby Murphy on the touchline moments ago. Right by Ollie Wright. Bobby Murphy overseeing a terrific debut campaign for Portland Hearts of Pine a year ago. It was a somewhat slow start. He complained about too much settling for draws, but towards the tail end of that inaugural season, 8-match unbeaten run in league play from early August to late September, and that's when they really caught fire. That's when you saw Ollie Wright start to unlock his production, and things really started to gel around the time the postseason rolled around.
You and I had the ability to speak with Bobby Murphy numerous of times in 2025, and one thing that always stuck out to me was his relatability to every single one of his players in the locker room, having the ability to press the right buttons to get the best out of them, but also understanding when they need to taper off a little bit. You look at Ollie Wright, a player that maybe struggled in terms of his decision making once getting into that final third, but at the end of the season he was unplayable. Right, can score so many different goals, and it came down to the trust that he instilled through Bobby Murphy.
Ollie Wright scored 2 of Portland's 3 goals in the postseason last year, including the equalizer early in the second half against Spokane. That a back-and-forth fixture in which they scored twice to take the lead and were ultimately pegged back at the death in extra time in dramatic fashion. Wound up falling by 1 spot kick, and heartbreak is now on the back burner as they look to make a push towards the final once again. This is just beyond the reach of Titus Washington.
And obviously here, how strong the wind is in the field, Mike, that's picking up as well. So that's going to affect, especially when you do elect to play long. A lot of times the messaging is going to be keep the ball on the ground, a lot more predictable the way that this ball can hold up. And we've seen some wayward passes early in this match from both sides.
46 degrees, near 20-mile-an-hour winds at the moment. Right. Scarlett on the underlap. Shoved down. The referee appears to indicate it was clean. You see the packed crowd in the supporters section for New York. This is a big day here in Paterson, New Jersey for New York Cosmos fans. A legacy that is reborn here in its 3rd iteration. It's Legends Night in the venue as well. A number of players from the teams that date back even to the 70s are in the venue to celebrate the history and the future of New York Cosmos football. And they're hoping that this is the relaunch of a club that will be here to stay for many years to come. Of course, it has all the history of the 70s, the most glamorous club in world football when they had Franz Beckenbauer and Pelé back in the day. Now they're looking to establish their own chapter as Kofi strolls forward for New York Cosmos. This is Spengler now. And still Ashmir Spengler goes down in the area. That was always more hopeful than actually purposeful.
But it's another good action for the New York Cosmos that comes with Kofi just pushing the issue. And Spengler, he's done a good job at just picking up the areas that he can operate in off the shoulder of Punanjaran and Kidd, creating a little bit of hesitation. Look at this stop right there. It opens up that passing lane just to run into. Goes down far too easily. Cosmos are doing a good job at getting themselves into that final third, but just need to be a little bit more efficient as this first half continues on.
Ashmir Spengler is one of the headline signings New York made. 25-year-old who's played multiple years in USL League One, including that breakout campaign with Texoma a year ago. As Wright hooks this forward to Wada. Here he is again. Slick network of interplay. It's just about broken up, though. Kofi. Bito on the overlap. Flips it into the area. Nodded along. It's an excellent stop from Morse.
Starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm, the Cosmos are, and it's specifically on that left-hand side. Love what we've seen from Spangler, the ability to peel off his individual marker towards that second post, but this knockdown to Sebastian Guenzati is phenomenal. Center of your screen, notice the timing right now as he creates that little bit of separation, trying to put it into the path of his striker, and you would bet Sebastian Guenzati finds it back of the net 10 times out of 10 from about 6 yards out. Fantastic save from Hunter Morris.
Sumner scored 75 goals in 9 years in USL Championship after spending time with the Cosmos in NASL. 34 years old, someone who they still believe has plenty left in the tank. The interesting note about him, just one of 2 players aged north of 27 on this Cosmos roster. It's one of the youngest in the league. There's another foot race here on the far side. Zalonka. Low cross this time. Kamali Green doesn't deal with it, but Hunter Morse does.
If you are Sebastian Guenzati, you have to love what you've seen from your front four. Kofi, the ability to go 1v1. Zalonka just got on the ball right here, but specifically Spangler making those runs out of the midfield are a nightmare to defend. So all you need to do is get yourself in a dangerous area, and more times, often than not, you'll get rewarded.
Saw Portland start fast, had multiple chances to open the scoring, but now New York's starting to grow into this as Wright strolls the opposite direction now. Dispossessed, physically at that. Kofi. Turn ball is well beyond his reach. Well, fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Beyond the midway point of this first half, Sam Goldfarb, the former USL standout Ricky Lopez-Espin on hand. 0-0 between Cosmos and Portland Hearts of Pine. But you've started to see more promising signs from the home side lately.
Understanding how they want to attack this game, and it's going to be on the front foot. Look at the picture of your screen. Almost 10 out of the outfield players in the attacking third. I love what we've seen from the wingers. It's exactly what Davide Corti mentioned to us in a conversation. He wants them to be electric, and they've been just that over the last 5 minutes here.
He said that my system caters to wingers with terrific one-on-one ability. When you have Christian Kofi and someone like Nick Zalonka, who's been overlooked by a lot of pro clubs, according to Club Brass, they definitely have themselves in a position to wreak havoc. This is Morabito, the 17-year-old. Someone who surprised Davide Corti as well as the remainder of club staff with his performance in the friendly against Cholos de Tijuana in the preseason. Matched up with multiple seasoned professionals on the left side and was locked down for spells. Here's Anderson Holt, former Union Omaha product. Lovanov. Zalonka. Guenzati. Referee waves play on. Here's Wright. Just opens up the space brilliantly for Punanjaran. Wright again. Dances past one. He's starting to get in his bag at the moment. Punanjaran overzealous in his attempts to win it back up.
See the frustration from Ollie Wright, saying that there needs to be an earlier run here from Scarlett, especially with the amount of pressure from Galazzini that he's putting on the winger. If you can create an overload, then you afford yourself some more time and real estate to operate in. Over the last 5 minutes, New York Cosmos have been the better side on and off the ball.
You see them starting to build through that pressure a lot more confidently.
Again, the spacing between Milovanov and Seidel a lot better. Milovanov is dropping a little bit deeper, Seidel pushing higher, which more specifically gives Spangler the ability to go out and search. And he's the key to everything, can find that final ball.
It has the feeling of a match that could certainly go either way through the conclusion of this first half. Nice bit of intrigue through this.
But if 2025 showed us anything, Sam, this Portland Hearts of Pine side does not need a lot of the ball to be effective. So transitional, so explosive, so the Cosmos need to be aware.
Here's Mohamed. Filled in as a starting right back at the tail end of last season. Right back, a revolving door for Hearts last year. And Mohamed has his cross deflected. Holt prevents it from going out for a corner. Talking to Bobby Murphy last year, at one point he mentioned that he feels possession is the most useless stat in soccer. in a way, only Bobby Murphy could say it.
If you and I said it, we look at each other.
There's a cross in and bashed away.
But just seems to make a lot more sense when it does come out of the mouth of Bobby Murphy with the success that he's had throughout his career.
He's someone who doesn't mince words, but is very clear about the goals of this Hearts club and is tied in with the community as well. He's mentioned throughout last year, they've met the community wherever they're at. They're not expecting that just by being a professional club, they will draw fans. It's about getting involved with the local community and incentivizing them to come to these matches. And it led to a club that set the record for most consecutive sellouts in USL League One a year ago. Not to mention, they've already sold out tickets for every home match this year. It is jaw-dropping what they've been able to accomplish so far.
He wants his side to be a mirror of the community, saying that Portland is a city that is built on hard work, on grit, togetherness, and that's exactly the message that he wants from his players, from player 1 to player 11 within the starting 11, and they've done a fantastic job of doing it. That's why you start to see the sellouts after sellouts and the hostile environment that is Fitzpatrick Stadium.
The opposite end of things, New York Cosmos looking to do the same in the New Jersey area. They've talked about building up a youth system there to attract talent to come through the ranks. Before their existence, New Jersey was a state with one club youth development-wise for about 9 million people, at least at the national level. So this is a major opportunity for youth talent to work their way into the pro ranks, but also the Cosmos to establish a presence in the tri-state area again. Scarlett here with the throw for Portland. Tick towards the 30-minute threshold. Still nothing to separate these two Northeastern clubs. Another chance for a long throw for Portland, and this is the new facet of the game that's come back over the last year or two. Arkton rolls to the goalkeeper rather harmlessly. We've already seen a lot of both goalkeepers. For Tristan Stefani, looks up for it on his professional debut.
He's been solid. The goalkeeper for the New York Cosmos, commanding his 6-yard box. That action right there tells you he has the ability to read the game as well. Trying to catch out Portland in a transitional moment, and just note it's a real estate that's gained from his decision.
23-year-old out of Norfolk, Massachusetts, finished his college career at Fordham this past year. Former product of the New England Revolution Academy back in the day. Talking to Davide Corti about his goalkeepers, he's mentioned that it's pretty neck and neck between Stefani and Derek Chan. He says that Stefani started the last 2 preseason matches, so early on in the season he will be favored, but this is by no means a set-in-stone decision by any means. Here's Scarlett. Right. Right. Looks long for Washington. Still trying to assert himself. And he was offside.
Just notice the positioning essentially for the Cosmos. Milovanov is dropping a little bit deeper, allowing Spangler to almost play as dual 10s with Cito underneath that front three. Showing you a little bit of the tactical wrinkle and the tactical IQ for the Cosmos we're trying to build out.
Here's Cito right now. He launches this forward towards Guenzati. The flag stays down. Galazzini. This comes out to Cito, who has a pop from afar and rockets it off the crossbar. And Morse is able to run it down, but what a chance that was for Cosmos.
We continue to hear how special Cito can be for the New York Cosmos. His ability to read the game, but how technically sound he is on display right here. Notice there's no backlift whatsoever on this strike from a standing foot to generate that amount of power. Hit it so clean. Great strike from the midfielder for the Cosmos.
No one closes him down, and he nearly made the entire defense pay the price with what would have been a worldie. Spangler. Here is Cito again. Kofi. Dancing down the far side. That effort was always speculative.
Once the Cosmos have settled into this game, you're starting to see the type of team that they can be in glimpses. When they're quick, when they're decisive, they can really put you under pressure, and they've done that over the last 10 minutes here.
Davide Corti, someone who's come from an environment where tactics are emphasized heavily. A former player for AC Milan back in the day. Spent time managing the women's team of AC Milan before a recent stint with Sampdoria in the Italian Serie A. Someone who has built up his system methodically over the years. We're starting to see signs of it on full display here. This is right. The center of attention for Portland. Turn ball from Washington undercooked.
For Portland, you need more out of Wada. Only 11 touches throughout this game. He is your number 10. So crucial to what they want to do going forward. His relationship between him, Washington, and Ollie Wright hasn't been there as effective as you would want if you are Bobby Murphy.
Galazzini pokes this forward now, and something brewing for Cosmos. An effort from outside the box, and it ripples the outside of the side netting. It appeared Ajmer Spangler was inches away from troubling Hunter Morris.
Talked about Spangler and how crucial he is going forward. I love this third touch as he takes it centrally. What that does, that opens up the goal. He can either go far post or try to wrong foot Hunter Morris to this near post. Good action from the attacking midfielder for the Cosmos.
Almost feels like the run of play in this fixture has flipped the last 15 minutes or so.
In every aspect of this match, defensively, the Cosmos are first every 50-50 ball. They're winning their individual duels, and they're playing this game in their attacking half.
Milovanov. Morabito. Chavez. Captain Texoma a year ago. It is a partnership with plenty of League One experience. Chavez and Anderson Holt. Not the oldest by any means. Holt just 21 years old, but both have played in high-pressure environments. Mateo Kidd. This is Poonan Jaran. Wada.
Great challenge.
Cito again. It's just a wrecking ball at the moment. Final 10 minutes of this first half. Sam Goldfarb, Ricky Lopez, Espin on hand here in Paterson, New Jersey. At Hinchcliffe Stadium, a historic venue that seats 7,500. New York Cosmos continuing to press on. Galazzini, chip cross in. And Morse collects. Wada.
Group Alex started with 10 tickets and are discounted from the single game pricing. Call 551-353.
Waits it for Wright. We still have yet to see that partnership brew.
I have to give a lot of credit to the two center midfielders for the Cosmos as well. Milovanov, Cito doing a good job at staying a little bit deeper and supplying that security blanket within that back four, which is exactly where Wada, Ollie Wright want to operate in. They've done a good job at dictating tempo against the ball.
It's long to the far side. Whistle sounds against Portland. Well, if you are Bobby Murphy, assuming that this trend persists into halftime, how do you tilt the pendulum back in your favor?
I think you need to draw Wada a bit deeper. That gives you a little bit more security blanket next to Punanjaran. You can take out Kidd. You can bring in someone that can give you some more legs going forward. JT Kamara is a player that he raved about the preseason. What he had, can he make an impact in the second 45 minutes? But something needs to change for Portland Heart to Pine, because it's been all one-way traffic for the Cosmos in this first half.
Enjoyed a fast start, but since Cosmos have started to calibrate, there's been no response. You see Stefani working his way into the build. Punanjaran. Scarlett is back in USL League One after a one-year sojourn to MLS Next Pro with Carolina Core FC. He's known for his time in Greenville prior to the one-season stint in Carolina. It's clipped ahead. It is brought down. Tucked back across now. Seattle once again there to break everything up. Cito. Looking forward for Kofi. Does bring it in. Numbers retreating now for Portland. Once again, Cosmos establishing camp just outside this Portland penalty area. We've hit the 40-minute threshold. At the moment, it appears Hearts are just trying to last until halftime without conceding.
Nice pocket of space here.
Seadolt. Ushered wide again. Spengler. They're breaking lines with relative confidence at the moment.
But again, the spacing of Spengler's caused all sorts of issues for Kidd and Punanjaran. Both of those center midfielders for Portland are getting caught a little bit too high, leaving space in between lines.
Morabito. Well, fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. There are a lot of great seats here at Hinchcliffe Stadium in Paterson, New Jersey. 7,500 seat venue that has been built back up after a period of disrepair in the late 90s, early 2000s. This a venue, though, that dates back to the 1930s. And once again, competitive sport played in it here this season. It is the home of the New York Cosmos, an emotional home here in Patterson for so many. Here's Scarlett for Portland. Flashes it across. Not the finest of efforts from Wright.
Good relationship between Scarlett and Ollie Wright. In that last action, Ollie Wright comes centrally trying to get that second ball, allowing Scarlett to push higher and almost play as a third winger on this near side. It's not the final product that you would expect from a player of the quality of Ollie Wright.
Scarlett, a player who has played left wing in the past. He's not just a fullback in many respects. He can bounce around positionally.
And it's so important when you do play with a player in front of you, you need to play on different planes, and what I mean by that.
It's a physical challenge from Kamali Green, and it's one a referee lets fly.
Sebastian Guenzati and all the Cosmos players asking questions of Luis Arroyo, seeing there was a lot of contact there between Guenzati and Green.
Business end of this first half. Conan Giron. Kidd. Wright. Wada. Now they're starting to incorporate him more into the build.
Also note he's a little bit deeper, right? He wants to get on the ball. He's a player that's good in possession, but can also have those legs to run out of midfield, very much like we've seen from Spangler.
Kidd. Knocks it wide for Scarlett again. You see him occupying that space on the left side, high up. This time wins what appears to be a corner for Portland, although Luis Arroyo and company feel otherwise. Final minute of the initial 45. It does appear Portland has reestablished some semblance of stability in this after a period where they were under it. The question is if this scoreline will remain the status quo as we head into halftime. Kofi. Right. Has a pocket of space here for Portland. Knocked back wide. Towards Alides. Mohammed now providing support. And whipping in a dangerous ball that is saved brilliantly by Stefani. Right. Wada. Well, there is a halftime whistle, and it comes amid the backdrop of a sensational stave by Stefani to keep New York level.
We saw high-quality football from both of these sides. Portland Hearts and Pines started the first half on the front foot. They started to struggle to have a grip of the game, but give credit to New York Cosmos. What Davide Corti's been able to do with his side, create an identity. We've seen it come through. Second 45 minutes, all going to be about players who can be clinical in that final third.
Well, at halftime, no score between Cosmos and Portland Hearts of Pine, but many glaring chances both ways. At intermission, 0-0. We will step aside when we return and look back at what was a fun and lively first half in Cosmos' League One opener. Stick with us.
I'm Bree and I am Ion.
नाम कलीम जान है और मैं आयन हूँ.
Yo soy Ion Bank.
I'm Tajinder Kaur. ਅਸੀਂ Ion Bank ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ.
I'm Taiwan and I am Ion.
اسمي أدمى وأنا آيان.
Ja jestem Ion Bank.
Eu sou Ion Bank.
Ja jestem Ion Bank.
I am Ion.
Ready, buddy? Here it comes. Keep your eye on the ball.
We see your future.
I got my eye on these colors.
Your day-to-day.
Okay. Well, I got my eye on this.
Yeah, right.
Really? And every big decision along the way. We see you when other banks really don't. So we can see you through anything. We're always looking out for you. Ion Bank.
I'm Bree, and I am Ion.
नाम कलीम जान है और मैं आयन हूँ.
Yo soy Ion Bank.
हम तजिंदर कौर ਅਸੀਂ ਆਇਨ ਬੈਂਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ.
I'm Taiwan, and I am Ion.
اسمي أدمى وأنا آيان.
Ja jestem Ion Bank.
Eu sou Ion Bank.
Ja jestem Ion Bank.
I am Ion.
We welcome you back to Paterson, New Jersey, where at halftime our scoreline reads Cosmos 0, Hearts 0 in this battle of Northeastern clubs. New York Cosmos' League One opener off to a decent start on Legends Day. It's time to get a look around League One, starting with our team of the week. How about that performance from Denis Kurchenkov, a brace at Westchester?
You look at that side, there's just so much talent in USL League One. And I want to talk about the newcomers, Nate Miller and AC Boise, what they've been able to do, the roster they've been able to bring in. You see 3 players after their big win against Sarasota. For Nate Miller, he has a really good feel of the players and the characters that he's bringing into this locker room. They're going to be a problem as this season continues to progress.
One of the preseason favorites, potentially, in USL League One. And as we continue our look around the league, it's time to get a brief glance at our goal of the week, our save of the week, and USL League One All Access.
Reiterate a little bit, passing lanes that maybe there weren't there before, like this one for Glasser, deflected backward, now a chance to sell for Garcia!
What a moment for Chris Garcia, the first goal of the season for FC Naples in a home win. A deflected cross allows him to take advantage of the space. 5 guys backed in from Fort Wayne expecting a cross, but Garcia shows off some magic, the touch, and it's all about the finish. Garcia nestles that ball into the far side. That is your select USL League One goal of the week.
Chester now rolling forward. This is Diaz who drops the shoulder. Quality kick save there from Gary Beck.
This week on USL All Access, Lexington and Louisville give us a Commonwealth Cup to remember on opening day. Plus, Ryan Martin, the head coach of Oakland Roots, joins the show.
How a relationship from his childhood and his father's best friend led to his first ever coaching job and helped lay the foundation for some of the better growth we've seen at the youth level in this country.
Every Tuesday, USL All Access on SiriusXM FC, and the next day, the USL YouTube page.
USL League One kicks off. Players Shield winners. He does it again. Their first ever goal in club history.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
And we welcome you back to Patterson, New Jersey. We're at halftime on Legends Day. New York Cosmos level with Portland Arts and Pine in their inaugural USL League One match. It's time to get a look around the league with our preseason power rankings presented by Capelli Sport. And Ricky, what do you notice here from the top 10?
Just looking at the former champs, obviously they have to sit at the top. Union Omaha, they brought in some interesting pieces. They'll slot in at number 2, Lee Beeman and company. Will this be the year that they can finally get over that hump? You talked about Nate Miller and that roster. He was able to assemble a lot of players that had success in USL League One, USL Championship as a whole. But one thing that is extremely certain with USL League One, it continues to grow, and the parity is here more than ever.
Yeah, you see the bottom here. Westchester picked at the bottom. New York Cosmos picked 16th. The club brass is saying the players have seen that. They are motivated by that. We'll see if they can overperform those preseason expectations. In terms of the rest of the day in USL League One, here's the schedule going forward. 5 more matches today. Do not leave your couch because there are 5 matches all kicking off at 7 p.m. Eastern. Westchester Soccer Club hosting Charlotte Independence. And then as you head throughout the schedule here, 1 Knox looking to maintain its unbeaten run at home against Ford Madison.
That's the one that you have to circle. Ford Madison and 1 Knox, the reigning champion. That's going to be a fantastic matchup. Ian, Phil, you talked about that at-home record. Can they continue to stretch that streak? So I'll just play for it. And like you said, get some popcorn, put the legs up, just watch them USL League One.
It's a great day. We are back in the league with a jam-packed day of football. Now let's get a look at our news and notes. Dan Lucas has more around USL League One.
It is halftime in USL League One. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines for this week. A pair of first-year clubs in USL collected wins in their inaugural matches. Dennis Kostashin scored in the 75th minute to lift AC Boise to a 1-0 win over Sarasota Paradise, which was also playing its first ever League One match. In the USL Championship, Brooklyn FC defeated Indy 11 1-0 with a penalty kick from last year's League One Golden Boot winner, JC Obregon. And how's this for a debut? 1 Knoxville's Denis Kruchenkov scored not 1, but 2 goals in his first professional game, helping Knoxville get past Westchester SC 3-2. They say veteran leadership always matters, and that's what we have to start the season in Greenville. Brandon Frick, Evan Lee, and Tyler Polak have combined to play more than 42,000 career minutes. That's the top 3 minutes played in League One history. A pair of matches over in the championship will be broadcast in Spanish on 2DN Wednesday the 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Lexington SC hosts Brooklyn. Then on Saturday the 28th, a 4 p.m. Eastern start between Detroit City and Charleston Battery. That's a look at the headlines for this week. Let's get you back to your match for the second half.
Welcome back to the tri-state area where we get a look at our first half highlights in New York Cosmos inaugural League One match. And Ricky, a match where there were glaring chances both ways in that first half.
Portland found success when they were connected, especially through that front line. Washington doing a phenomenal job off playing off the shoulder of Chavez, but takes a little bit too long, which closes down the angle and gets denied by the goalkeeper's best friend, which is that near post. And it's the best opportunity here for the Cosmos as Spangler peels off. The header is phenomenal. Right into the path of Quinzati. He needs to bury this 6 yards out, but good save from Hunter Morris.
It was glaring opportunities both ways, and then later in the half, Cosmos starting to take control of things. Darren Seidel nearly popped up with a worldie.
Started to grow with the game. Seidel, the ability to command that 6-yard box. The power that he generates from this strike is so impressive. First touch out of his body and just stands and strikes it so pure, so clean. Ricochets off of the post. Spangler's been really good in his positioning, trying to wrong foot Morris here and try to catches him sweeping at that near post, just pulls it wide.
And then right before halftime, Portland Hearts of Pine missing a glaring chance to take the lead.
Mohammed quality service from his right back position. Wada doing a good job at playing off the shoulder of Washington and in between both center backs. Great save from Stefani to come across.
Stefani has looked up for it on his pro debut. You get your look at the halftime stats. Portland the edge possessionally, but Cosmos more shots and looking more dangerous at that.
If you are Davide Corti, you're the happier of the two managers. You were on the ball more often. You are threatening the opposing goal more times often than not. But for Bobby Murphy, you found your 2 shots that you had when you were connected, when you were quick, and you had movement off of the ball. Can you find that on a consistent basis in the next 45 minutes? That's going to be the challenge for Portland Hearts of Pine.
We'll see how everything unfolds here at the start of this second half. Still no score between Cosmos and Hearts, but chances both ways in those opening 45. Just about set to get things back underway from Hinchcliffe Stadium. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez Espin on hand, and it appears a double change is in the works for Portland Hearts of Pine. We will get those changes to you when we have them. But Portland looking to shake things up, and it appears one of the men coming in is another professional debutant in Abubakar Kamara. So Kamara, one of the two in, and you get the sense that maybe Titus Washington's day will come to a close. It was a half of ebbs and flows, so to speak. You saw New York take the game over midway through the first half, and then some signs of life for Portland at the tail end of those opening 45. But if you are Bobby Murphy, how do you change things and get it back in your favor?
Essentially, you need to win that midfield battle. Will not be surprised if we see Wada drop a little bit deeper just to help out in positioning. And notice when Portland Hearts of Pine are building out of the back, the Cosmos are pressing higher. So the positioning of the double eights are going to be important to drop deeper to allow now Kamara the ability to get on the ball and to just release some of that pressure.
Well, back underway here. And we welcome you back to Hinchcliffe Stadium in Paterson, New Jersey, where we apologize once again for technical difficulties here. Since we left you, there was an opener. Konstantino Georgilidis scoring moments ago, his first professional goal in his pro debut for Portland Hearts of Pine to make it 1-0. It was a well-worked move, and that is currently what separates the two sides here. Portland capitalizing on a promising spell post-intermission. Here they are again. Puna Njiran lifting it wide towards Georgilidis, but he won't catch up to that.
Portland has done a better job at just securing that central location, which will allow that front three to be a little bit more aggressive. The wide parts of the field has always a point of emphasis for Bobby Murphy, and that's exactly how they found the opener.
It was a well-executed move. We will give you a look at the goal when we have a chance. New York now forced to battle back as Seidel strolls forward. Shoved down by Mateo Kidd. That will prompt what appears to be a yellow card.
If you take a look at this goal from the wide parts of the field, right side of your screen, just notice the angle that Georgilidis does get in. Plays off the blind side of Morabito, and it's a really strong header that nothing that Stefani can do. And just like that, that is how Portland Hearts of Pine take the lead here on the road.
Change being made as well. Mateo Kidd vacating the action for Portland Hearts of Pine. Exit for Diogo Barbosa and a like-for-like swap in the center of midfield. The 30-year-old making his first USL League One appearance of his career after joining from the lower leagues of Portuguese football. Also played in Bulgaria.
Kidd had a really difficult time just trying to find the game in and out of possession. A player that is going to be a big part for Bobby Murphy, especially with the competitiveness in that position right next to Puna Njiran. You can throw Mikey Lopez in there as well. A lot of depth for Bobby Murphy, especially centrally.
This is passed away by Stefani. You have to feel for him. He's made a number of quality stops, including since the restart. Chances that you have missed, where they've had 1 to 2 golden opportunities to take the lead. Finally, Georgilidis makes them pay. The 24-year-old Cypriot, who most recently played for UCLA in the American college ranks.
Barbosa is going to give Portland a little bit more legs and more bite, essentially. The ability to step high, keep the game in front of him. He's going to be a little bit more defensively, which will allow Puna Njiran to play on both sides of the ball, almost as a number 8 in that position.
Native of Lisbon, who most recently played in the Maltese Premier League, but he's also played in the lower leagues of Portugal, Bulgaria, has bounced around the European football ranks before finally moving to Portland, as this is hoofed forward and maybe a chance to break for Cosmos. Sprayed wide now. Lost his footing on the far side. He sticks with it and loses it out of play for a goal kick.
Just far too many touches from Zelanka there. Especially at this level, when you create a little bit of separation, you need to be effective just to put the ball in a dangerous area, because you have a lot of options crashing your attacking 18-yard box.
It is Zelanka's first ever professional appearance with New York Cosmos, but someone who has made a name for himself during his time at UMass, not to mention played a key role for New York Pan-Cyprian Freedoms a year ago during their run to the second round of the US Open Cup. That involved a cup set of FC Cincinnati 2 on penalties at Northern Kentucky University. That one of the banner results of round 1. So he has played in high pressure environments before. Of course, Portland Hearts of Pine readying for the cup. They take on Vermont Green on Wednesday. Bobby Murphy mentioning that about 700 have traveled to New York for this fixture of their fans. He feels there will be another 200 in attendance for the Vermont Green match in Burlington as well. Should be a really fun fixture. The defending USL 2 national champions. Spengler has it broken up. Another substitute loses out there for Portland in JT Kamara, who is finally into the action. A player that Bobby Murphy raved about in preseason. Said that he's really developed as a player just beyond his final third finishing capabilities. There's a player down in the center of the park now.
As his ball does come centrally, that long touch from Barbosa, he gets caught. In terms of his timing, Livanov gets a lot of the contact. He's been good, tidy in possession. His relationship with Seidel as the dual sixes for the Cosmos has shown some glimpses of how good they can be.
Definitely have seen flashes from that midfield. Seidel, of course, rocketing one off the crossbar in the first half as well. It appears New York making a change as well. Kuhn Angeron was booked moments ago for Portland. Barbosa, his first proper touch. Looks long for Kamara. Wins it back cleanly according to our referee. Mohamed. There's Wada. Barbosa. These are the moments where Portland's bolstered back line will have to show its mettle. Up 1-0 on the road. These are the moments where they can protect results and pull away with 3 points, as there's a yellow card shown to what appears to be Kamali Green.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL
Ricky, if you are New York, how do you climb back into this?
Exactly what you did in that first half. You have to have runs out of midfield. Spangler needs to become a bit more active. The width from Zalanka and Colfeet can really cause some issues. Movements just like this.
There's a chance, an effort from afar. Quality stop there for Morse. Chance not lost just yet for Cosmos. Cut inside now, and that is right at Hunter Morse.
If you can go wide, what that will do with Portland Hearts of Pine's back line. Now the gaps start to open centrally because they are spread apart. Good little play here from Sebastian Guenzati to create his own space, forcing a nice save from Hunter Morse. And notice where Horst puts this ball wide, not allowing a second bite at the apple, an easy save secondary for the goalkeeper.
Always felt like he had that under control. Barbosa. Kamara. Wada.
Sustitución para sus New York Cosmos, saliendo del partido número 11, Nicholas Zalanka. Entrando al partido número 22, Patrick Bowie.
So Patrick Bowie entering for Nick Zalanka moments ago. As now New York heads into their bench and introduces some new pieces to this chess match.
Bowie's going to give you a bit more directness and verticality versus Zalanka that wants the ball to feed. So on either side of Sebastian Guenzati, now you have two real burners that are really going to test the shape for the Portland Hearts of Pine's back line.
Transition moments feel like where they could maybe do a lot of damage. There's Wada. He's been coming deeper to receive the ball since the midway point of the first half. Plenty of green shirts to play into now. This wide towards Bowie. Does get there first. Knocked away rather confidently.
Start of this second half is something that we saw at the start of the game for the Cosmos. Not efficient enough, not clean enough once in that final third.
Barbosa loses out, only briefly though. Let's break Evans away. It does feel like that layer of final third sharpness has eluded New York so far.
Which is going to be the last thing that's going to come to fruition for a team that is still trying to figure out the relationships, comfortability factor, and nonetheless, a first-year team as a whole. For Davide Corti, creating those opportunities is something that he's going to take positively away from this match, saying we're doing a good job of getting ourselves into that final third, but now how ruthless can we be and how efficient will be the next step in this progression.
Ivanov just muscled off it right around Bobby Murphy. Inching towards the final 20 minutes here from Paterson, New Jersey, the inaugural League One match for New York Cosmos, and as things stand, Portland playing spoiler. First competitive match in over 5 years since New York Cosmos competed in Nice in the fall of 2020. They have yet to break through against this ironclad Portland backline. A side that at times struggled defensively a year ago, but Bobby Murphy emphasizing the need to upgrade there. So far, so good out of possession. This is Wada.
Good feet.
Kamara. Always a dynamo on the flanks, and he darts beyond two. Referee gets in the way. Puna and Duran at the center of that. Well done from Evans. Mohamed. Dancing inside. Just a boot from Milovanov to dispossess him. Andron already on a yellow card. Has to watch himself here. What up?
Really good work there from Matt in Armour, a player that doesn't need to take an invitation to join the attack from his left back position, winning a dangerous set piece here for Portland.
It's a corner that's taken short as well. This is right. Plays it back into the space. Kamara's cross is low, cleared away. Andron scrapping for it. New York able to play out of the pressure. Maybe a chance to break the other way now. Bowie. Morabito. Bowie again. It's a crunching challenge from Wada. It's one that draws our referee Luis Arroyo's ire. They're pressing the issue. They have yet to find a dramatic breakthrough yet. Here's a low cross in. It runs all the way across the face, and no one there in green to greet it. Was that the golden moment for New York Cosmos?
Good opportunity going forward for the Cosmos. The outside part of the field has always been a cause for concern, but this is a phenomenal ball in terms of the placement. See the bottom of your screen, Davide Corsi extremely frustrated that there's no one slashing across that near post zone. Because if you do, it's 1-1. That is when you need Sebastian Guinzotti to play in between both center backs, getting himself in a dangerous area.
It's like Galazzini flashed that across. Spengler, a chance from outside the area, and it's a moment of history for New York Cosmos. They are level with just under 18 to play. And it's Darren Seidel who pulls them on even ground.
As this ball comes back across, good intricate play from Seidel. And that little bit of hesitation really puts Hunter Morse under a boatload of pressure. He can play it wide, but notice how he just hammers it with his head down, laces through it, had a fantastic strike early in that first half, and this time finds that near post area. Phenomenal strike and deserving goal from Seidel, who's been the best player on the field for the New York Cosmos.
Well, after 70-plus minutes of waiting for a breakthrough, they finally have it, and it is a goal of upper echelon quality. And look what it means to the support. New York won, Portland won, and still plenty of time for them to potentially push on and grab a winner.
Once again, your Cosmos goal scorer, number 8, Osmer Spangler.
The other way, a chance for Portland. And a corner here for Portland as they look to pull themselves back in front. Wright standing over it. In-swinger. It's low, headed away. Crediting in the venue to Ajmer Spangler. It did appear that Cito was the one who got the touch. Here's Wada, and he tucks it in. Well, no doubt about who the goal scorer is here for Portland. Masashi Wada pulling them right back in front.
Nine goals, 1 assist on the season last year for Wada, and he completely changed the fortune for Portland Hearts of Pine when he got pushed higher up the field, because he just has a really good feeling of being at the right place at the right time. But to take this first time, fantastic decision, not allowing Stefani to get himself set and catching every single player in a New York Cosmos jersey on their heels. Phenomenal strike. And just like that, Portland Hearts of Pine yet again take the lead here in New Jersey.
It is the swift reply of swift replies. 2 goals separated by about 3 minutes. And Masashi Wada opening his account for 2026 to pull Portland right back in front. Sometimes you're at your most vulnerable right after you've scored, and that is the prime example.
Just the first to react for Wada. And so many times when players get in that situation, they want to take that second touch, they want to take that third touch, but they do not have the luxury of time nor space in the attacking 18-yard box. It's instinctual, and it's a great goal for Wada.
Wada, as you mentioned, 9 goals a year ago, one of the top creative playmakers in all of USL League One. For Portland Hearts of Pine a year ago, a first-team selection in the all-league selections in November. He has picked up right where he left off a season ago. Maybe a slow start to this fixture for him, but he has turned it on when it's mattered most. New York must battle back once again as Morabito strolls forward. And now Kofi on the left flank. Morabito on the underlap. Flashes it back across the face now. Kofi, offside flag stays down. Cross ultimately knocked away. Kamara looking to dance through defenders. Well, the goal officially given to Darren Cito, so that has been confirmed. He has etched his name in history as New York Cosmos' first goal scorer. However, the moment dampened rather quickly by Masashi Wada, and Portland flashing its resilience once again. And it was that resilience that allowed them to go to Chattanooga, pick up 3 points in the quarterfinal away from home against one of the toughest defenses in league history, and then battle back from 1-0 down against Spokane Velocity in the semifinal and take a lead in that fixture. This is a side built on grit and resilience, and they show it again here. This launched upfield towards Kamara. Spangler. Now pushing on for Cosmos. Morse will claim. Well, fans can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL MLS Premier League and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Inching towards the final 10 minutes, and we've had a lively conclusion to this one. Darren Seidel pulling New York Cosmos level on 73 minutes. 3 minutes later, Masashi Wada opportunistic in the box to nudge Portland back in front. And that is where we find ourselves as Ali Wright pushes forward for Hearts. Wada. Puna and Giron. Oh, a singular balloon has now occupied the football pitch.
You asked me the question early in that first half saying, what did Portland Hearts of Pine need to do better to find a result of this game? And I said, you need to secure that midfield battle. Barbosa's came in and he's given this side a different life, the ability to get into challenges, to cover ground. And in theory, that gives Wada the ability to go on search the game. Bobby Murphy mentioned late in 2025 is when we found success, we found Wada higher up the field because he gave us legs, but he also gave us the ability to pop up in right areas, allowing Ali Wright and Kamara to be isolated. Something that Bobby Murphy did exactly that, and this second half is giving them success going forward.
Gonzati now racing the other way for Cosmos. It's a second ditch clearance that does the job. Challenge from Kamara.
Cosmos fans, please visit the Cosmos team store, now located at the top of the concourse, and get your gear today.
Sashi Wada, really interesting story. A player that spent the bulk of his career in the J League, but couldn't quite put it together at the highest level of the J League, despite a promising youth career that saw him train with Manchester City in 2014. He makes his way over to Portland in April of last year, and the moment he steps foot on the pitch for Portland Hearts of Pine, it's a love story that really hasn't ended. He was exceptional throughout the season. The fans fell in love with him, and I'm sure they love the moment he just provided about 5 minutes ago. As Kamara now darts forward with those lively stepovers. Cross that doesn't quite match the flair he showed.
And what's so important and what's so impressive for Wada as well, the versatility he gives you. I mentioned he can play a little bit deeper, more as a defensive role. He can play wide, he can play as a false number 9, so it gives you that lot of flexibility for Bobby Murphy in the way that Portland wants to go on attack and really put pressure on opposing back lines.
Bobby Murphy has raved about his technical ability in particular. Right. Speaking of Wada, here he is again. Right, sticking with it now. Down in the penalty area. Luis Arroyo unmoved.
Okay, just look at the repress here for Portland. A lot better in terms of the mentality, and they get away with one here. Here, Cosmos goes bottom of your screen. Bobby Murphy giving our fourth official an earful. But it was moments like that that New York dealt with a lot better in that first 45 minutes, understanding that if Portland is going to repress, we can just bypass it with playing into that front line.
Bowie. Can the substitute conjure? He switches the play nicely to Kofi, and this is where he's at his best. Christian Kofi, right at Morse.
It's the right idea from Kofi. Running at Mohamed, trying to take that second touch and just trying to curl it to that far post area, but in the end, doesn't hit it cleanly enough.
Those are the moments, Willow, where Davide Corte wants his wingers to shine. One-on-one situations where they can run at the defense.
But it's important, Sam, to note that you find that situation with playing quick and playing decisive, understanding. Watch out here.
Made a meal of this. They get away with it. Spengler. Kofi. And again, more room to break and do so quickly.
Back-to-back actions, not clean enough from Kofi there. Really important for a player of his quality just to play, keep it simple next time he gets the ball.
Well, inside the final 10 minutes, you're seeing a pace of play from New York that you frankly didn't see in the first half. Maybe urgency starting to creep in. Spangler. Looking through for Guenzotti, who rounds the goalkeeper. Can't quite keep it in play.
Seidel, Milovanov are sitting a bit deeper, allowing Spangler to be more connected with Sebastian Guenzotti. It does seem like Morse is slow to get up, seems to be cramping on his right leg.
It's definitely a point of concern for Bobby Murphy and company. One of the best goalkeepers in the league a season ago. Led the league in saves, has made a number of big stops here this afternoon as well.
Been so impressed with Spangler, his ability to pick up spaces. That is a really good ball, especially with the weight, because you cause a little bit of concern between Morse and Green. Fortunate for Sebastian Guenzotti, just runs out of real estate, but if he can take that touch vertical versus diagonal, then he has more of an angle that he can really put pressure on this Portland back line.
Hunter Morse is still down, 27-year-old. Belleville, Michigan, second season with the club, and we mentioned last year a standout campaign for so many in Portland colors. He was one of the major breakout stars. Well, fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Morse back to his feet as we enter the final 5 minutes here from Paterson, New Jersey. 2-1 scoreline in favor of Portland Hearts of Pine. All 3 goals in the second half. Konstantinos Georgilides opened the scoring on 56 minutes, pegged back by Darren Seidel on 73, and then 3 minutes after that, Masashi Wada providing the would-be winner. It's had a feeling of a match that's been on a knife edge all day, but Portland has seemed to execute in those moments in front of goal better.
They've been better in both boxes defensively. Their box defending has been phenomenal with.
Off this forward towards Kamara, who is in and makes it 3. Another debutant on the score sheet for Portland, and they may have just sealed it.
Better in the defining moments. Portland Hearts of Pine comes off of a long kick here from Morse, and just the anticipation from Kamara as this ball falls to Ollie, right side of your screen. He just takes off, understands that both center backs are getting caught flat-footed, and then it comes with the strength to fend off his defender, and notice the positioning from Stefani. Wrong angle, so that leaves that far post wide open. Leaves one thing left to do, just get it past the goalkeeper, and it's off to the corner to celebrate. Strength, efficiency, and a clinical finish for Kamara to give Portland Hearts of Pine a little bit of breathing room.
Portland 3, Cosmos 1. Abubakar Kamara on the score sheet on his professional debut. Someone who featured for 3 different college programs throughout his career, 33 goals during his time in college. Best known, of course, for his 3-season stint with Louisville. And talking to Bobby Murphy this week, he was quick to single out Abubakar Kamara and say, this is someone who I feel can translate that production at the professional level.
Everything that you want in a striker was in his goal. The ability to read the space, to be vertical, to show strength, but also to have the composure to collect himself and simply just pass it by the goalkeeper. Great goal for Kamara.
Kofi is looking to respond for New York now. Another corner coming for New York. Get a look at the goal.
And defensively, it's a breakdown for New York Cosmos. Unable to win the initial ball, unable to win the second ball. Both center backs are caught flat-footed square, but just notice how far towards that near post Stefani is.
The corner comes in towards the back stick, just beyond the reach of Anderson Holtz. Ollie Wright, who supplied that 3rd goal, is trying to navigate out of pressure. Seidel tees it up, just flashes over.
It's the 3rd time that we've seen how clean Seidel can strike a ball. Very similar to that first time here, almost off a standing foot, and just tattoos this thing Unfortunate for Hunter Morris that this ball continues to rise, but it's just such a flat strike from Cedal. He's been a player that's been extremely impressive for the Cosmos.
He's someone whose performance will be overshadowed by the result today, surely. Final minute of the initial 90. Cosmos' League One opener is in danger of being a bit disappointing for the fans who have waited 5 years to see them back in action. This is a club that has meant so much to the tri-state area. We've spoken about its history dating back to the 70s. Fans that have grown up supporting them from the days they played at the Meadowlands at Giant Stadium. This is a club that no doubt has the tactical acumen to make noise from what we've seen here.
Yeah, they've shown glimpses.
Long for Kamara.
And the timing of the run from Kamara has caused some issues for the Cosmos back line, and specifically the two center backs.
Spangler. Upended there by Barbosa. The referee says that Cosmos have fouled in the repress. Here's one final change being readied by New York. It will be 6 minutes of stoppage time that separate us from full time. Punendran. Wada. Right. Bowie breaking the opposite direction now for Cosmos. Can they add some late intrigue into this? It's still Bowie, who's shoved down in the box. And again, Luis Arroyo unmoved, and that's been consistent.
It's the right call. Nothing in that whatsoever. As Armour just uses his body, and he goes down far too easy. It's a good no call by Luis Arroyo.
Seems like he's had a good match today.
Been very consistent, and that's all you can ask for a referee.
One final change coming for Cosmos, and it appears it's the end of the road for Terrence Cedal, who has been terrific, a shining light in midfield for New York all afternoon. He makes way in stoppage time.
Substitution entering the match, number 20,
Nick Mendonca replaces him. Morabito.
Sustitución para los Cosmos, entrando al partido, número
Kofi.
20, Nick Mendonca, y saliendo del partido, número 33,
Multiple defenders now, and Kamara assisting defensively, and that's been a big improvement in his game according to Bobby Murphy. And now he'll continue his run. This is Wada poking it through to JT Kamara. Can't pick out right on the far side. When you look ahead, New York Cosmos, some time to regroup. They are not competing in the US Open Cup as a new addition to USL League One. So their next fixture, next Saturday at Spokane Velocity, before playing 3 of their next 4 at home. On the other end of things for Portland, it is turning the page to Vermont Green, which should be a dandy of a tussle. If you know anything about Vermont Green, you know they pack the place whenever they host Open Cup.
It's going to be a good environment for Bobby Murphy. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with his roster. Is he going to try to create that consistent starting 11 players starting to get game fitness, or is he going to dip into his bench and bring in players that we haven't seen and use that opportunity as a showcase ability to pencil their side in once USL League One continues on? So a lot of storylines for Bobby Murphy, but one thing that we've come to expect with Portland Hearts of Pine, they play to win no matter the competition.
Expected 10,000 attendance at that game on Wednesday night. 2 years ago, they hosted Lexington, and they packed the place out then. And this is a regional tussle now, with Portland making the trip over to Vermont. As we've already established, there will be some quality support from Portland Hearts of Pine, the Dirigo Union, one of the most devoted supporters groups in USL League One. You came in today expecting Portland to be one of the preseason favorites in the league. Do you think they've validated that status here?
100%, especially with how shaky they looked in that first half. Whatever Bobby Murphy, and again, I'll go back to the ability to press the right buttons for Bobby Murphy in the locker room. Whatever he said, whatever he did, struck a chord with his side, because we've seen a completely different Portland Hearts of Pine side, not only on the ball, their effort, the ability to close down space, to fight off one another.
Bowie looking for late consolation. Morse gets a paw to it. Headed away.
Tough challenge there.
And yellow card shown.
Zini, no need. Comes in late, knows exactly what he's doing, and catches Adam Armour. Pure frustration from the right back for the Cosmos here. No play on the ball whatsoever. Bowie's been active since coming on for the Cosmos. Left footer playing the right-hand side, but just notice as this ball's gone, extremely late, drops the shoulder, knows exactly what he's doing, deserving of a yellow card for Galazzini.
Well, Adam Armour, a literal welcome back to professional football moment after missing a good chunk of last season with injury. Signed with Portland this winter. Former Charlotte FC player back in the day in 2022. Had single-digit MLS appearances during their inaugural season as a fullback. It's the final moments of this opening fixture for New York Cosmos, and it appears they will be forced to settle for a defeat. Can they half the deficit here, though? Spengler venturing forward, and then committing a foul at the end of that interchange.
Just going back to what we've seen from Portland. Yes, we could talk about Bobby Murphy, but the pieces that they brought in specifically in a game like this, Barbosa, Kamara, Armour, have provided real quality going forward. And on the other side for the Cosmos, if you are Davide Corsi, you can take a lot of positive in this match as well. For the first 45 minutes, you were the better side, but the tempo is going to be a big thing for this side. If they can continue to play at a really high tempo, they can move the ball quick, they can be a real problem, real threat in USL League One.
There is the full-time whistle. Portland Hearts of Pine jumping out in front and then bagging 2 goals after the equalizer. The winner from Wada, the dagger from Abubakar Kamara, and Hearts off to a flying start to 2026.
Efficiency was the difference of this match. Portland Hearts of Pine, 5 shots, 4 on target. They found the back of the net 3 times, really clinical when they did get in front of goal. For the New York Cosmos, they're trying to find consistency in how they arrive into the attacking 18-yard box, but still a foundation that was laid for a historic club.
There were moments of promise in their USL League One opener, but New York Cosmos' return to professional competition unfortunately ends in unhappy fashion for the home support. They fall 3-1. We will step aside. When we return, a look at the 90 minutes that just transpired. We welcome you back to Paterson, New Jersey, where we get a look at our full-time highlights in what was a lively start to the League One season for both these clubs. It was a fast start for Portland and a back-and-forth game throughout.
Sergio Lides does a good job at just getting into the inside track of his individual defender and arriving. It's a powerful header, nothing that Stefani can do. But going back to Luisito was the best player for the New York Cosmos. I love his ability to arrive into the 18-yard box, and he can hit a ball from distance. He can hit it with power, and he finds the bottom corner to tie it 1-1.
And then 3 minutes later, Portland would find the go-ahead goal. Ollie Wright in the midst of everything after a few chances for Portland prior to that.
Second wave of attack causes some issues here, and it's Water first to react, but the ability to hit this first time leaves no chance for the Cosmos to get set off to the corner to celebrate. And then you saw Bobby Murphy dip into his bench and provide some real quality as this ball comes in the right side of your screen. Notice the change of pace right there from Kamara, the strength right there, and the composed finish right there. All three done extremely well, and that's a goal for Portland Hearts of Pine and 3 points as they steal on the road.
You look at the full-time stats, Portland more of the ball, less shots, but as you mentioned, more definite in the final areas.
Second half, Bobby Murphy and company did a whole lot better in terms of dictating tempo. Their press was a lot more aggressive. They kept the game in front of them. For Davide Corti and the New York Cosmos, there were some foundations that they could find, but they need to play higher tempo, because if they did that, then they were on their front foot, but all to play for as this season progresses.
It was a promising display from Cosmos at times, but Portland deserved winners. More definitive in the penalty boxes, and they scored 3 goals as a result. That is where we will leave things here from Paterson, New Jersey, where Cosmos' inaugural match ends in defeat in USL League One. Portland Hearts of Pine, 3-1 victors here in Paterson. For our terrific crew and my broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Sam Goldfarb, saying so long from Hinchcliffe Stadium, where Portland wins 3-1. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.